When we talk about success, talent often comes up first. We see it in sports, in business, in art, the naturally gifted. We admire it. We assume that the person who is born with talent has the advantage and therefore the likely path to success. But here's the truth: talent is only the starting point. It is not the finish line. Consistent action, the small but relentless steps taken day after day, has a power that talent alone cannot match. Talent without action is potential unfulfilled. It is like having a seed and never watering it. It has the capacity to grow, but without care, it will never bear fruit. On the other hand, consistent action, even when the results are small or slow, compounds over time. It creates momentum, it builds habits, and it transforms ordinary individuals into extraordinary achievers. Consider someone who is moderately talented but applies themselves daily. Each day they learn something new, they refine a skill, they push past obstacles. Over months and years, their improvement is exponential. Now imagine someone naturally talented who does not practice consistently. Their skill may plateau, stagnate, or even fade. The consistent performer surpasses the naturally gifted because action is measurable and cumulative, while talent is a static starting point. Consistency also builds resilience. Life is unpredictable. Challenges, failures, and setbacks are unavoidable. Talent may allow someone to start strong, but only consistent action keeps them moving forward when the initial excitement wears off or when the circumstances are tough. Those who act consistently develop the discipline to persist when others give up. They create a feedback loop. They try, they fail, they learn, they improve, and they keep going. Another factor is adaptability. Consistent action encourages experimentation. It allows you to test approaches, refine methods, and pivot when necessary. Talent may give someone an early edge, but consistent action ensures long-term relevance. The world changes, industries evolve, technologies disrupt. What lasts is not raw talent, but the ability to consistently grow, adapt, and act. Finally, consistent action builds confidence. When you take action regularly, you build proof of progress. You see evidence that your efforts matter. This confidence fuels further action, which leads to mastery. Talent alone can't give you this proof. Action, however, creates a foundation you can stand on no matter the challenges ahead. So when you reflect on your own path, remember this: don't wait to be ready or to have talent. Start small, start today, and commit to the process. Each consistent step brings you closer to results that talent alone could never achieve. Consistency transforms potential into reality. It beats talent every single time because action is the bridge between possibility and achievement. 5 keynotes of the speech: talent is only a starting point. Without action, it remains potential unfulfilled. Consistent action compounds over time, leading to exponential growth. Daily action builds resilience, helping individuals persevere through failures and setbacks. Regular practice encourages adaptability, ensuring long-term success despite changing circumstances. Consistent action builds confidence through visible progress, creating a self-reinforcing cycle of improvement. Talent is often glorified in our society. We celebrate the naturally gifted athlete, the prodigy musician, the visionary entrepreneur. There is something undeniably alluring about the idea that a person is born with a unique gift, a natural advantage that sets them apart from everyone else. We tend to assume that talent guarantees success, that the individual with inherent skill will inevitably rise to the top. But when we look closely at the stories of truly successful people across every field, a different pattern emerges. Talent by itself is only the starting point. It is the seed of potential, not the fruit of achievement. Without action, without deliberate effort, talent remains dormant and unfulfilled. Talent is an asset, yes, but it is inert unless it is activated. A person may be naturally skilled at solving problems, drawing, or performing, but if that skill is not exercised, it will not grow. Imagine a brilliant athlete who never trains, a gifted writer who never writes, or a musical prodigy who never practices. Their raw talent exists, but it does not translate into achievement, or recognition, or mastery. Talent alone cannot overcome the realities of life or the challenges that arise when one attempts to create meaningful work. It is a foundation, but a foundation without construction will never become a home. The key difference between talent and consistent action is that action is tangible and measurable. It is something you can control. Talent, by contrast, is largely outside your control. You cannot manufacture natural ability, but you can choose to practice, to learn, to put in the work every single day. And it is through repeated, intentional action that talent is shaped and refined. 1 hour of consistent effort may not seem transformative on a single day, but over weeks, months, and years, those hours compound into remarkable skill. The individual who engages in regular action develops competence, knowledge, and experience that talent alone cannot provide. History is filled with examples where consistent action outshone raw talent. Consider a moderately skilled musician who commits to daily practice versus a naturally gifted musician who plays casually without structure. Over time, the first musician surpasses the second because their dedication produces results. Talent may give an initial advantage, but it cannot match the cumulative effect of regular, focused effort. The consistent door is constantly improving, constantly learning, constantly building momentum. Talent without action, on the other hand, stagnates. It may get a person noticed early, but without sustained effort, it will plateau and eventually fall behind. Another important aspect of this principle is that talent alone cannot prepare someone for the unexpected challenges of life. Life does not reward potential, it rewards execution. A naturally talented individual may excel in ideal conditions, But when circumstances shift, obstacles arise, or pressure mounts, talent without preparation often falters. Consistent action, however, cultivates resilience and adaptability. When a person commits to regular effort, they develop problem-solving skills, discipline, and confidence. These qualities are far more valuable than innate ability because they allow someone to navigate difficulties, recover from setbacks, and continue progressing even when the path is uncertain. It is also crucial to recognize that consistent action reinforces itself. Each day of effort, no matter how small, builds habits. Habits then reduce the reliance on motivation alone, making progress more automatic and sustainable. Talent, while attractive, does not generate habits. Without action, talent remains a passive attribute. It is through repeated practice, experimentation, and perseverance that potential is transformed into excellence. This is why people who are perceived as naturally talented are often those who have put in years of disciplined effort behind the scenes. What appears effortless from the outside is actually the result of consistent action over time. Finally, it is essential to understand the psychological dimension of this dynamic. People who rely solely on talent often struggle when faced with failure or criticism because they have not developed the work ethic and persistence necessary to overcome obstacles. Conversely, those who commit to action build a mindset oriented around growth and progress. They learn that setbacks are opportunities to improve, not reflections of inadequacy. They know that even small, incremental steps accumulate into meaningful results. Talent may provide confidence at the start, but consistent action builds the competence, resilience, and mindset needed to achieve long-term success. In the end, talent is not meaningless. It is valuable, but it is only valuable when paired with action. Without effort, talent is wasted potential. It is consistent, deliberate, and persistent action that transforms what could be into what is. It is the daily commitment to improvement practice and learning that turns a spark of talent into a flame of achievement. Those who recognize this understand that success is not about innate ability. It is about what you do consistently with the abilities you have. Talent may open the door, but it is action that carries you through it. Consistent action has a power that is often underestimated because its effects are not always immediately visible. We tend to admire dramatic breakthroughs and instant success, but the reality is that progress is rarely instantaneous. Real lasting achievement is the product of small, repeated efforts compounded over time. Each action, each effort, each decision to push forward contributes to a larger momentum that eventually produces results far beyond what talent alone could achieve. The cumulative effect of consistent action is exponential, and this is why it often surpasses even the most naturally gifted individuals who do not apply themselves regularly. When we examine the principle of compounding, it becomes clear why consistent action is so effective. Just as money grows exponentially with compound interest, skills, habits, and achievements grow exponentially when nurtured through repeated effort. Practicing a skill for just a few minutes every day may seem insignificant in isolation, but over weeks, months, and years, the difference becomes monumental. This is because each day's action builds upon the last, creating a foundation of experience, knowledge, and refinement. Small improvements, repeated consistently, accumulate into mastery. In contrast, relying solely on talent produces a flatter trajectory of growth. Talent may allow someone to perform well initially, but without consistent practice, their potential reaches a plateau, while those who act persistently continue ascending. Another key aspect of consistent action is that it encourages learning through iteration. Each action, whether successful or not, provides valuable feedback. When a person engages regularly, they can analyze what works and what doesn't, make adjustments, and improve steadily. Talent alone may give someone an initial advantage, but it does not guarantee the ability to learn from mistakes or adapt to new challenges. Consistency, on the other hand, embeds a process of continual growth. By showing up every day, individuals expose themselves to opportunities for improvement, they experiment with new approaches, and they gradually refine their strategies. Over time, this disciplined approach produces results that far surpass what natural ability could accomplish in isolation. Consistency also builds momentum, and momentum is a critical factor in achievement. Action begets action. Once you start moving, each effort makes the next step easier. Small wins accumulate, building confidence and reinforcing habits. This is why those who engage in consistent action often seem unstoppable. They have created a self-reinforcing cycle where effort produces results, results produce motivation, and motivation fuels further effort. Talent may give someone a burst of initial success, but momentum derived from consistent action sustains progress through periods of challenge, fatigue, or uncertainty. It is also important to recognize the psychological power of consistent action. Taking regular steps toward a goal, no matter how small, strengthens discipline and focus. It shifts a person's identity from someone who has potential to someone who consistently delivers. This sense of identity is powerful because it frames how an individual approaches challenges, setbacks, and opportunities. Talent alone does not cultivate this mindset. A naturally gifted person may rely on inherent skill, but without daily effort, they lack the resilience and persistence required for long-term success. Consistent action, by contrast, fosters both confidence and capability, creating a virtuous cycle where effort leads to skill, skill leads to results, and results reinforce further effort. Moreover, consistent action mitigates the effects of unpredictability. Life is rarely a straight path, and opportunities are not always evenly distributed. Talent may allow someone to shine when conditions are perfect, but when circumstances are difficult, unpredictable, or competitive, Only those who have committed to persistent effort can continue progressing. Regular action ensures preparation, practice, and experience, which collectively increase the likelihood of success even in less than ideal situations. Talent without preparation may falter under pressure, whereas consistent action produces reliability, competence, and confidence under all circumstances. Finally, the long-term impact of consistent action cannot be overstated. It transforms ordinary individuals into extraordinary achievers, not through sudden bursts of brilliance, but through persistent, measurable progress. Each step forward, no matter how small, is a building block. Over time, these steps accumulate into expertise, influence, and results that seem almost disproportionate to the initial effort. This is why consistent action beats talent every time, because while talent is finite and static, consistent action is dynamic, expandable, and unstoppable. It multiplies itself, creating outcomes far beyond what natural ability alone could ever produce. Consistent action does more than simply build skill or produce results. It builds resilience, the inner strength to keep moving forward despite challenges and setbacks. Life is unpredictable, and no matter how talented or gifted a person may be, obstacles are inevitable. The naturally talented individual may start strong and achieve early success, but without consistent effort, they often falter when circumstances change or pressure intensifies. Consistency cultivates a mindset and a set of habits that allow individuals to endure difficulties, adapt, and persevere, turning obstacles into opportunities for growth. Each day, a persistent effort reinforces the ability to face adversity with confidence rather than fear. Resilience is developed through experience, and experience is gained through action. Every time someone takes deliberate steps toward their goal, they encounter challenges, make mistakes, and learn to overcome them. These moments, while uncomfortable, teach lessons that talent alone cannot provide. Talent may allow a person to avoid certain failures initially, but it does not guarantee the ability to respond effectively when failure does occur. Consistent action, on the other hand, exposes a person to setbacks in a controlled, manageable way, building the mental and emotional strength necessary to endure and adapt. Over time, this repeated exposure to challenge creates an internal toughness that is far more valuable than any innate gift. Another critical aspect of resilience is the ability to persist when progress is slow or results are not immediately visible. Talent can produce impressive results in favorable conditions, but it often lacks the staying power required for long-term growth. Those who rely solely on talent may become discouraged when the initial advantage wears off or when they encounter unexpected difficulties. In contrast, consistent action instills patience and persistence. It teaches that progress is cumulative and that every effort, no matter how small, contributes to long-term success. This mindset is crucial because it allows individuals to maintain momentum even when external validation is absent or when the path forward seems uncertain. Resilience built through consistent action also encourages problem solving and innovation. When someone is committed to acting daily, they inevitably face challenges that require creative solutions. Talent may give a person the ability to perform well within familiar circumstances, but it does not necessarily equip them to navigate complexity or adapt to change. Consistent action forces the mind to confront obstacles and find ways around them, fostering adaptability and resourcefulness. This iterative process of acting, encountering challenges, and adjusting strategies not only strengthens resilience, but also sharpens critical thinking and decision-making skills, making long-term achievement more attainable. Moreover, resilience gained through action reinforces self-confidence. When individuals repeatedly take steps toward their goals and navigate obstacles successfully, they develop proof of their capability. They learn that effort produces results, that setbacks are not insurmountable, and that persistence is more reliable than talent alone. This confidence creates a positive feedback loop. The more consistently someone acts, the stronger their resilience becomes. And the stronger their resilience, the more consistently they're able to act. Talent alone cannot generate this cycle because it is static action, repeated over time, is dynamic and self-reinforcing. It is also important to note that resilience does not emerge only in moments of success. It is forged in struggle, in the daily grind, in the commitment to keep showing up when outcomes are uncertain or progress feels slow. Every early morning, every late night, every deliberate step taken toward improvement strengthens the ability to face setbacks without losing motivation. Consistent action normalizes the experience of challenge, teaching individuals that obstacles are part of the process rather than reasons to quit. In this way, action transforms adversity from a threat into a teacher, creating strength that talent alone cannot produce. Finally, the combination of resilience and consistent action amplifies long-term achievement. Those who persevere through challenges develop an advantage that is cumulative, compounding over time. While talent can create bursts of early success, it rarely sustains someone through the inevitable difficulties of life. Consistent action, reinforced by resilience, ensures progress continues even under unfavorable conditions. It is the ability to endure, adapt, and keep moving forward that ultimately separates those who achieve lasting success from those who fade after initial promise. Resilience, cultivated through daily effort, is the bridge that transforms potential into real, enduring accomplishment. Consistent action not only builds skill and resilience, it also cultivates adaptability, the ability to respond effectively to change and to thrive in dynamic environments. The world is rarely static. Circumstances shift, opportunities evolve, and challenges arise that cannot be predicted. Talent alone provides no guarantee of long-term success because it is often specific to a particular context or situation. Someone may be naturally gifted in a skill or discipline, but if they rely solely on that talent without continuously practicing, learning, and adjusting, they risk becoming obsolete when conditions change. Consistent action, however, creates a habit of engagement, learning, and flexibility that allows individuals to navigate uncertainty and remain relevant over time. Adaptability is the result of repeated exposure to new experiences and challenges. When a person takes action consistently, they encounter situations that require problem solving, experimentation, and adjustment. Each action is an opportunity to refine techniques, test strategies, and discover what works and what doesn't. In contrast, a person who depends solely on innate talent may excel in familiar circumstances, but struggle when faced with unfamiliar challenges. Talent may provide a short-term advantage, but consistent action builds the capacity to learn, iterate, and innovate, ensuring that an individual can continue to grow even when the external environment shifts. Moreover, consistent action encourages a mindset oriented toward growth. Those who act daily are constantly assessing results, learning from mistakes, and adjusting their approach. This mindset inherently develops adaptability because it teaches individuals to view obstacles not as threats but as opportunities to improve. Talent alone does not instill this perspective. It can create confidence, but without the discipline of daily effort, it rarely fosters the habit of reflection and adjustment necessary to remain effective over time. Action creates feedback loops. You try, you observe, you adapt, and you try again. Each iteration strengthens your ability to respond to change and uncertainty with agility. Another dimension of adaptability developed through consistent action is the ability to innovate. Innovation requires not only ideas, but also experimentation, trial, and error. Those who commit to regular action are constantly testing boundaries, learning new methods, and discovering creative solutions. Talent, without this repeated practice, can become static. It produces a high initial skill level, but it does not guarantee the flexibility required to explore alternatives or respond to unforeseen problems. Consistent action transforms learning into a dynamic process, allowing individuals to pivot and innovate as circumstances demand. Adaptability also builds confidence under pressure. When someone engages in deliberate effort consistently, they accumulate a reservoir of experience that can be drawn upon in difficult situations. They have seen challenges before, navigated obstacles, and learned to adjust their approach. This accumulated experience allows them to respond with composure and strategic thinking rather than panic or hesitation. Talent may give a person an initial advantage, but it does not create the depth of experience or the capacity to adjust under stress that consistent action produces. It is through repetition, reflection, and iteration that adaptability is forged. Consistent action also allows for long-term relevance. Industries evolve, technologies advance, and societal needs change. Relying solely on talent creates vulnerability because what may be exceptional skill today could be inadequate tomorrow if it is not continuously developed and applied. Those who commit to consistent effort maintain an ongoing relationship with learning and improvement, ensuring that their abilities remain effective and applicable. Adaptability, fostered through regular action, is what enables individuals to stay ahead of change rather than be left behind by it. Finally, consistent action strengthens the connection between effort and results, making adaptability more effective. By engaging in repeated practice, individuals learn which strategies succeed, which approaches need adjustment, and how to pivot efficiently. Talent alone does not provide this insight. It may allow someone to perform well initially, but it does not create the accumulated knowledge necessary to respond to complex or shifting circumstances. Consistent action transforms uncertainty into opportunity, producing not only skill, but also the judgment, flexibility, and creativity required to succeed in an ever-changing environment. Consistent action builds confidence in a way that talent alone cannot. Confidence is not something that is gifted at birth. It is cultivated through experience, effort, and proof of progress. Talent may provide the initial advantage of skill or ability, but without deliberate and repeated action, it offers no guarantee of self-assurance or certainty. When individuals act consistently, they accumulate evidence that their efforts lead to tangible results. Each completed task, each improvement, each small win reinforces the belief that they are capable, competent, and able to achieve goals. This growing confidence then fuels further action, creating a positive, self-reinforcing cycle that propels individuals toward mastery and achievement. The development of confidence through consistent action is gradual and deliberate. It is built one step at a time through persistent engagement and repeated effort. Each attempt, whether successful or not, provides feedback and learning. By facing challenges consistently, individuals gain a realistic understanding of their abilities and limitations. This awareness is critical because it allows them to approach future tasks with both humility and assurance. Talent may allow someone to perform well in familiar situations, but it does not create the experience or familiarity required to navigate new or complex challenges. Confidence born from action is rooted in competence, not just potential, and it endures even in the face of uncertainty. Consistent action also reduces the fear of failure. Talent alone can make a person risk-averse because they may become attached to the perception of being naturally skilled or gifted. Failure can feel threatening to this identity. In contrast, someone who engages in regular, deliberate effort understands that failure is part of the learning process. Each setback is an opportunity to adjust, improve, and try again. This mindset cultivates a type of confidence that is resilient and adaptable. It is not fragile or dependent on external validation, but anchored in the knowledge that persistence and effort produce results over time. Confidence from consistent action allows individuals to take risks, explore new opportunities, and push beyond comfort zones, whereas reliance solely on talent can lead to stagnation or avoidance of challenge. Furthermore, consistent action builds mastery, which in turn strengthens confidence. Mastery is achieved not through occasional bursts of effort or reliance on innate ability, but through repetitive practice, focused learning, and continual refinement. Each day of deliberate action contributes to skill development, knowledge accumulation, and capability expansion. As individuals witness their own growth, they develop a deeper trust in their abilities. Talent may allow someone to start at a higher level, but it cannot substitute for the sense of control and achievement that comes from seeing progress emerge from sustained effort. Confidence rooted in mastery is self-reinforcing. The more capable someone becomes through action, the more they believe in their potential to succeed in the future. Confidence from consistent action also supports decision-making and initiative. People who regularly act develop the courage to make choices and take responsibility for outcomes because they trust in their ability to adapt and learn. Talent may give someone the technical skill to perform a task, but it does not provide the repeated experiences of navigating uncertainty and testing decisions under pressure. Those who act consistently have faced a range of scenarios, learn from outcomes, and hone their judgment. This experience allows them to approach challenges with composure and decisiveness, further reinforcing their confidence and increasing the likelihood of continued success. Finally, consistent action transforms internal doubt into motivation. Each completed task, each challenge overcome, and each measurable improvement serves as proof that effort matters. This creates a mindset where confidence is not merely a feeling, but a result of tangible evidence. Talent alone may inspire envy or admiration, but it does not provide the deep assurance that comes from knowing, from personal experience, that hard work leads to results. Confidence generated through action is durable because it is earned, tested, and validated repeatedly. It empowers individuals to pursue ambitious goals, overcome obstacles, and maintain momentum even when circumstances are difficult or unpredictable. In the end, the path to achievement is not defined by natural talent alone. Talent may open the door, but it is consistent action that carries you through it. Daily effort transforms potential into skill, builds resilience to withstand challenges, cultivates adaptability to navigate change, and develops confidence through measurable progress. Those who commit to persistent, deliberate action create momentum that compounds over time, producing results far beyond what raw talent could achieve on its own. Success is not about who is the most gifted, but who is willing to show up, put in the work, and keep moving forward day after day. The message is clear: action, taken consistently, beats talent every time.